Hi, I'm Yannick Hanfman.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Wolfner.
It's Mark Andrea Whistler.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the GTL Podcast. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Hopefully. The epic final. Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz. We saw it in Wimbledon and we're going to get it at the US Open. So he's going to be able to handle a situation in a Grand Slam final against Djokovic because he's beaten him in one. I'm going for Carlos Alcaraz.
The main man, the number 24, Novak Djokovic. US Open time, baby! Let's go! Gauff could be our US Open champion.
3-set final in which Iga wins. Near impossible that Djokovic doesn't make the final.
Novak Djokovic claiming his 24th Grand Slam title. On the women's side, going fast bingo.
No surprise here. I think that Novak Djokovic will win this year's US Open, and Coco Gauff is going to be the American that wins it on the women's side.
That Novak Djokovic will win this Grand Slam, beating Alcaraz in the final. I believe that Sabalenka is going to ace up this Grand Slam.
Sabalenka and Djokovic take it.
Novak Djokovic will have as many Grand Slams as there are hours in the day. Ons Jabeur is going to do it. I think Ons has learned from her mistakes.
Novak Djokovic is going to win the US Open.
Aryna Sabalenka is winning her second Grand Slam. Carlos Alcaraz is going back-to-back. He's going to defend his US Open title.
Coco Gauff on home soil is taking home the cake. Gauff will win.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. Another day in the books of US Open action, and we had some of the big guns out on court. Novak Djokovic still playing incredible tennis. Can't believe this guy is 36 years old, and he sort of had a really competitive match against Zapata Miralles, but came through with flying colours in the end. And another big story, Wozniacki. She's back, and she's back with a bang, knocking out Petra Kvitova, JG. I mean, who saw this story coming at this US Open?
I mean, the old guard are showing the next gen how it's done, and targeting Stefano Tsitsipas with that one because he keeps losing. Considering he's only 25 years old, this should be Steph coming into his prime. It's not working out for him. Of course, we'll touch on that in more detail as the podcast develops. But Djokovic, like you said, I thought Zapata Miralles played quite well. And there was times when he was moving in from side to side, hitting some great shots. And in a way, I think Djokovic just completely snatched his soul. It's another situation like that. He did everything at times to win the point and didn't win the point. And he started to look at himself. I know there was a situation 15-40 down where he had break points and he was pushing Djokovic side to side to side. You'd think he was going to get the breakthrough and get the break. He couldn't do it. Djokovic then held. I mean, what does that do for your confidence? Like if you throw the kitchen sink at a player and you feel like you're playing within yourself, like playing some of the best tennis you possibly can, and it keeps coming back, and you then end up losing that game. He was exhausted. You saw him. He looked like he'd just run a marathon after that first set. And it was evident in the next two because it was 6-1, 6-1. Djokovic, 36, isn't he? But yet moves like a, 20-year-old. I don't think 20-year-olds really move as well as he does. He is incredibly fit. And from an athlete's perspective, I still would put it up there as like the greatest athlete we've ever seen across any sport because I don't think anyone can do what he does on a consistent basis, week on week, on different surfaces, in different climates and countries, can do that. No one else can do that in any other sport. Well. So Djokovic is just another animal altogether, and that now means 16-0 in round 2 at the US Open.
It's absolutely incredible. I totally agree with you when you say that he sort of snatched his soul. You saw at one point the rallies in the first set were incredible. They were about like 15 to 20 shot rallies. and it was fantastic. I absolutely loved what we were witnessing. And I thought, wow, maybe I've not given Zapata Miralles enough credit, but that could only last so long, couldn't it? And we saw eventually he just suddenly it just like the power went out of his shots all of a sudden. Then he just looked like a beaten man, and Djokovic just took over and over. We've seen it so many times before, but when you see it happening in real time like that, it's amazing, because you just think, wow, that guy is seriously good, Zapata Miralles. He was hitting everything like as hard as possible, and they were just coming back until eventually you just saw him just go like, boom. The soul left. It went off into the ether somewhere, and Djokovic just completely wiped him off the court. I mean, brilliant to see.
Oh, it is remarkable. And when you see that happen, you think, who's actually possible? Like, who can physically beat Novak Djokovic? And I think that just outlines how special Carlos Alcaraz is. The fact that he's shown that he can beat Novak Djokovic in a Grand Slam situation, like especially the final at Wimbledon most recently. That is insane, that you can go out there and beat Djokovic in a Grand Slam final when he is this good and he's so difficult to beat. I don't know if you're going to go through some more Djokovic tweets. Just go to the next one.
This one, really good one. He's obviously having his post-match interview on court, and I thought that this was a really funny one. He said, happy to be back out in front of you guys. What gives me the strength? That's what gives me the strength and motivation at 36. I still have the hunger and desire to play my best on this court. And someone from the crowd yells, "You still got it." And Novak said, "I still got it." Thank you.
I preferred the one when he was asked, who would win? A 20-year-old version of you or the 36 version
26-year-old, I think it was.
Oh, 26. Yeah, and he 36. Was like, I wouldn't want to play me, but that's what I do every single time I step out on court. And if I can beat myself, I'll win the match.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that comment. He is up against himself out there most of the time. Until you come up against somebody like a Carlos Alcaraz, like a Rafael Nadal, then he's up against the opponent, I'd say, more than he is against himself. But in these matches, it's just Djokovic v Djokovic. And if he can bring his best game out, he will win. That's essentially it.
Turning the question on you quickly, which Djokovic do you think would win? Of course, it's a really strange question because it's never ever possible. Playing yourself in a different time period. But if Djokovic was to have played himself 10 years ago, who would win? Which version?
I think now. It's that crazy because with the experience, he's got 10 years more experience now. He's a science project. I think that his actual body age doesn't look like a 36-year-old. So if anything, he might be a couple years older in body, but 10 years older in mind. So I feel that now he's even more well-equipped to tackle the earlier Novak.
I actually agree. And another thing is to serve. I feel like he's got a better serve now than what he's ever had. So
definitely has.
Definitely got to factor that in.
Yeah,
moving on.
Yeah, moving on to the next one. And Djokovic's half of the draw, which we know is getting a bit depleted down that side. We lost.
I mean, it was depleted before we started. Before we even hit a ball. Like, it was a ridiculously nice draw on paper. Of course, tennis isn't won on paper, but it's shown that. Opening round, Rune out, Felix out. That was straight before anything really happened. And now, the only three sort of high-ranked players left in Djokovic's draw, or half of the draw, not even in his court, in his half, which is insane, is Fritz, Tiafoe, and Paul. So 3 American players on his half. Apart from that, he avoids everyone else. Zverev, Medvedev, Alcaraz. They're the 3 big ones.
Yep.
You've got Berrettini as well, another one who can be a bit dangerous at times. But there is one man lurking who's not a seed, Jiri Vesely, who has a favourable head-to-head against Djokovic. Never lost, 2-0. He beat him recently as well. I think it was in Dubai or something.
Yeah,
I remember covering it. Like, what do you make of that for a start? And if they are to face each other, surely Vesely's not favourite.
Well, I think that this is a big problem with this statistic. I know that we had a similar statistic for Kyrgios Djokovic until that Wimbledon final, and then you see Grand Slam Djokovic.
Kyrgios took a set though in the final.
He did, yeah, and I don't think he played that badly. But being in a final against Djokovic, slightly different to being in like a fourth round or something. He's never played Vesely in a slam. He was supposed to play him back in 2016, but then Vesely pulled out. He had a walkover. So now they actually get the meeting 7 years later from when they were supposed to play. And we could get it. Well, he has to get past his next round. We're looking ahead, and we can't look past Vesely's opponent because he's going to have to play Borna Gojo, I believe, in the next round, and he's playing incredibly well. I didn't expect that from Borna, but Vesely's won 2 5-set matches in a row right now. Yeah, that has got to take it out of it.
Well, he's got Borna Gojo. He'll be favourite for that, and you'd think he can beat Borna Gojo, despite Gojo looking unplayable. This event, beating some top players on the way. I forget who it was now, but
McDonald he just knocked out. Yeah, really good,
easily as well, and. I feel like this. If he does beat Gojo or Goyo, I think we're going to see a repeat of 2016. I think he's going to pull out against Djokovic. I think he's going to keep... Mate, I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. I have a weird feeling. If Vesely Djokovic is scripted to happen and the round's about to play, I think Vesely's going to pull out with some kind of injury or something. One, he's played a lot of tennis, a lot of 5-setters. He's probably going to be feeling it physically. And two, I just have a feeling that this record's going to keep going, and he's not going to play him in a slam.
Well, I really want to see the matchup, to be honest.
I would like to see it, but I feel Vesely doesn't stand a chance.
What if he goes 5 sets again? Can you imagine? If he goes to another
he's going to be
sets.
exhausted. He's not going to be able to do that in a Grand Slam. Djokovic would beat him even if it was a first round, to be honest. So I think it will be very convincingly 3 sets, similar to the last Zapata Miralles match we've just seen.
Wouldn't you love it? Like, I don't want this. Obviously, I'm a fan of Djokovic, but wouldn't it make for a great narrative? Let's say Vesely gets there and then takes the first set on a tie-break or something. Everybody, the whole world's going to start exploding. Twitter's going to be going crazy if that happens. And I'm sort of all for it because I want to see Djokovic come back and have to battle the mental demons of Vesely being down the other end.
It would be fun to see Vesely go up 2 sets, but then Djokovic ultimately win. I don't want to see.
I can't deal with 2 sets.
I don't want Vesely to win because I feel like it will ruin the event for me a little bit. I want to see Djokovic go far. It would be great to see the Djokovic Alcaraz final, selfishly. But yeah, it would be good to see a bit of drama or Vesely go 2 sets up and everyone just honestly Pavi G panic on Twitter for a bit.
Yeah, that would be nice. I've seen him speaking a lot recently. There's a lot of tweets coming out from Pavi at the moment. Yeah. Most of them directed at Renee Stubbs, I've seen. But anyway, that's enough Pavi talk. Let's get on to the next tweet, which is Djokovic talking about somebody else who won yesterday, Coco Gauff, and impressive. Obviously, she was up against a prodigy in Mira Andreeva, and nobody else, I don't think, would have dealt with Mira Andreeva with the same level of confidence. We know she's played her recently. She bageled her in the match they played not too long ago. It might have been Washington, somewhere like that. But she stepped on court. She looked like a top 10 player, somebody who goes deep in slams now. She looked confident. She didn't get she didn't get bothered by the fact she got broken in the first game of the match as well. She got broken, and then she just literally just turned it on and broke straight back and then was straight into her stride. Backhand looked good, serve looked good, forehand even looked good as well. So I think Coco Gauff, brilliant. And Djokovic came out to speak about Coco Gauff getting close to winning a Grand Slam here. Do you want me to cover it?
I can read it. Yeah, Coco is on the rise. She's yet to win a Grand Slam, but played in a final. She's still young, but now with Brad Gilbert on her side, with the experience of coaching some of the greats, things are coming together for her. She's got the home support. Physically, she's fit, striking the ball very well. She broke to the top of the women's game quite early, but it still takes a few years to come together where you feel you're complete as a player, ready to win slams and dominate the game. I think she's coming very close to that stage and level. I'm sure she has high hopes for the US Open, and she should, because she's playing really well. And there's been a lot of people to tip her to win, yourself, I know Liam, a few of the other commentary teams members too. And I don't think she's going to win it because I feel Iga looks better. But let's wait and see. She's definitely in for a shot, and she played extremely well.
Yeah, played brilliantly well, I think. And this one is one of the reasons I think she did play so well. She is taking confidence from Carlos Alcaraz, studying somebody who else is so young in the game on the men's side, but is getting great results. And he said, she said about Carlos in Cincinnati, he was losing a set every match pretty much. He wasn't playing his best. The way that he was still smiling against her catch when he was down a set and a break. He said, down match points, he was still smiling. I was like, if he can smile and he's world number one and he has all this pressure, he's supposed to beat Hubie on paper, then I can do it in situations where I'm facing Iga or Sabalenka, where I'm considered the underdog on paper. I can smile too. And I feel like that's a real turning point for her in her mind, because we've seen how nervous she gets on court and she sort of lets the occasion get to her. Just having fun, smiling, realising that she is actually that good. She can beat these players. Just don't let your own negativity that eats up away inside of you and forget that you're on court to have fun. You're young. She's a teenager. Go out there and enjoy yourself. You're not expected to crush the world straight away. And you saw against Iga, she looked much better, much more composed. And against Andreeva, composed. And I like this Coco Gauff. She's looking like she's becoming a bit more of a champion to me, and see the way she speaks in these press conferences as well. You alluded to it. She seems like a little bit of a young Serena, maybe, like that confidence coming through, talking to press and that type of thing. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, she's matured a lot, I feel, quite quickly. I've just noticed she's become gone from that girly phase to a lady and someone who is very impressionable and someone who I feel can get everyone's attention. People are interested to see what she's got to say and see her tennis matches. And that's why she's probably the most supported player at the US Open so far.
Yeah, most definitely is. Another popular winner that we had obviously going through was Caroline Wozniacki. The fairy tale continues for her. Obviously, she was a finalist back in 2009 and 2014, knocking out Petra Kvitova. That's not an easy win. What do you make of this crazy run?
Well, I'm really impressed. I didn't think she was going to beat Kvitova. I thought that was going to be the round she was going to go out in. But you can just see what it means to her. She was so emotional after the match, in tears. It's been a lot of hard work to get back to this situation. And if you just scroll down, we've got a quote from her.
Yeah,
I think it's at the bottom here. It says, "I'm just so thrilled to have an opportunity to play on Arthur Ashe. 3 years ago, if you'd have asked me, I didn't think I was ever going to play on one of those courts again." And she's definitely someone who is hungry just to be on the big stages. I don't feel like she's coming back for the money. She's already had a really great career in tennis and has been remembered as one of the top legends of the sport. So for her to come back, that for me is just a bit like Andy Murray. She's doing it for the passion more than anything. There's no reason for Andy Murray to have to play tennis still at the top level. Same with Stan Wawrinka as well. And I put Caroline Wozniacki in the same bracket. And all I do is watching it, I find it very motivational that they can go out there and do well. And you never know, she might go on a bit of a run now. But the US Open does throw up some strange surprises. So imagine if Wozniacki goes really far.
It's a brilliant story. We seem to always have one of these stories popping up, don't we? We had the Svitolina one in Wimbledon. That was a brilliant story. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm all for it. I feel that this tournament needs stories like this, and she's up against Jen Brady, so it's going to be interesting to see how the crowd go. Do they back her?
They go heavy American. They still go heavy American. They're very patriotic, the Americans.
That's right. So I'm excited, though. And obviously with this, it says 2018 with the stat, with a victory over Petra Kvitova in the second round. This is Caroline Wozniacki's first win against an opponent ranked in the top 20 since defeating Kvitova at the WTA Tour Finals in 2018. Flashback. Yeah.
Kvitova's probably sick of the sight of us. Thinking, you just leave and just come off the tour completely?
Yeah.
Keep coming back and beating me.
got a number, hasn't she? Seems like. Well, that was a good year for her when she won the Australian Open that year. So she was definitely in some hot form. Speaking of somebody else in hot form, that is Iga Swiatek. And she went through, I know you covered that match yesterday. How was she looking against Daria Saville?
I'll speak about it, but one thing, I was just looking at the head-to-head for Kvitova Wozniacki because I was interested. And it is 8-7 Kvitova. But I'm assuming that was, I'm not sure if that's before or after the last one. I know that's the up-to-date one. So it's 8-7 Kvitova. So they've played 15 times. Kvitova just leading. But it seems like it's a very even matchup. On Iga, though, versus Saville, it wasn't an even matchup. It was an all right match in spells. But, I mean, I was extremely bored doing the live watch-along. Reason being, I just found that Saville had no power. Like it was like watching a player who had nothing. She just kept looping it up. Her defense was quite good. Yeah. The only winners she was able to do was when she went in behind Iga. But Iga was actually very good in spells. Didn't have her best game because she just didn't. I don't think she needed to. I thought these rounds of Iga, like she's just a bit like, I'll do what I can do. But there were signs of brilliance. There were signs of like, I don't know what's going on here. And I feel like if she did that against Saba, she'd get punished. But it was a ridiculous match to watch because there was no power whatsoever from Daria Saville. All of it sort of moonballed or looped in the middle of the court. And yeah, a bit embarrassing to watch, especially her reactions to like anytime she won a point, it was a massive come on and just over the top. And she was very frustrated when she lost the game, like threw a racket and stuff. It makes me wonder, like, how can you be that frustrated when deep down you know you don't have the weapons? Like she clearly, like, there's only so much. Like it's like me. The analogy I used during the live watch along was, it's like me entering the lottery every week and then absolutely losing my nut when I don't win. That's how it feels. It's like you go to the corner store, enter the lottery, and then on the weekend, the balls come out. I didn't win, and then it's like me beating up the TV. You don't do that, do you? Because you kind of know you're not going to win. And I'm not saying that she needs to go in the attitude of, I don't think I can win this. But until you can sort out the power differential, which is so evident, surely you don't think you're going to win most of these rallies. That's how I felt watching it.
Yeah, I saw some of the highlights. It looks like she was just having like a running lesson or something for most of the match, just jogging from side to side as Iga was just planting the ball into each corner and watching her run and run and run. But Iga had something nice to say because she'd been watching, obviously, Alcaraz, Djokovic and their great rivalry. Yeah.
They've all been talking about each other, haven't they? Djokovic spoke a lot about Iga and Coco Gauff. You've got then Iga talking about Alcaraz and Djokovic. Everyone, all the top players were talking about the two different respective tours.
Yeah. I'm not surprised that she's watching Alcaraz and Djokovic because I doubt she goes back and watches any of her own matches because that's probably not the most exciting thing to go back and watch. Says, I don't watch a lot, but these matches I actually watch from beginning to the end. You see the clash of two generations. They're so solid and good. They don't give points for free. I'm just watching them as a fan because most of the shots they're playing would be impossible for me to play. I can learn from how they behave and mentally never give up. And that's the second person there. We need to see a little bit more, don't we, from people gaining inspiration from Djokovic and Alcaraz. If they did, we'd have incredible matches all across the tour.
It is super important for players to look at these players like an Alcaraz and think, rather than just being in awe completely, think about how do they do it? Let me just try and take some things from his game and implement it in my own.
So somebody that you've been very, very keen on in this tournament, Muchova, to go very deep. And she won again against Freck, straight sets.
Yeah, I thought she was one of the best players, really, the first two rounds. She is, I think, making herself one of the contenders to win the whole thing. And considering where she was with all the injuries, she kept dreaming. She loves the sport. She's working hard. And now she's won 9 of the last 11 matches. She's one of the in-form ladies on tour. And I think she could be a dark horse to go all the way, really.
Another story, Dominic Thiem out due to retirement. Ben Shelton had a little bit to say. Obviously, Dominic Thiem was ill. He was throwing up, I think, before the match and actually couldn't continue, which was sad to see him go out like that. Do you want to take us through what Shelton had to say.
Yeah, it was similar to Eubanks as well. Eubanks was a bit unwell, and that kind of jeopardised his performance in that match. He had a bit of an upset stomach. Same with Dominic Thiem. But Ben Shelton had a lot of nice things to say. So he did a great job masking it. He's a great fighter and a great champion. To see him go down like that when he walked back on court, I knew something was wrong. It's a shame. He's been playing great tennis these last few weeks. He put on a clinic in the first round. I thought we had a really high level and entertaining first set. What about you guys? So Ben enjoyed it. Great news for him. He's in a really nice section now. There's a lot of players out of this section. I mean, a prime Dominic Thiem would have been walking it, I feel, all the way to Djokovic. So Shelton has a good shot, and I've got him going all the way to the semi-finals. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, he can go there. I know some people have called me out for it, but the way the draws opened up, it's certainly very possible.
I like it. I think it's good for tennis if he does get there as well. I hope that he does. We've got Wawrinka. He keeps going, doesn't he? We're talking about the old guard. I mean, he's crazy.
The old guard are doing amazing.
Yeah.
He's the oldest man in the draw. Beats Echeverry. He's going to be in round 3. Mensik. He's going to take on Taylor Fritz. So he will turn 18 when he takes on Taylor Fritz in the 3rd round. So he's 17 at the moment. The age difference between the two of them, 20 years, 157 days, and that is currently older than Carlos Alcaraz.
That's nuts. But well played to Mensik. He's had to come through the qualifying. And we know one of our members, Peter Zaremba, has been messaging me mad about him on Discord saying, watch out for him, watch out for him. Well, I am watching him now. He looks incredible.
Can't avoid him. And it's annoying because how many Czech players are they going to have? Why can't we have some in the UK? I feel like there's millions across the men's and the women's of Czech players. It's just a constant conveyor belt of really good players.
Yeah, most
I
definitely.
told you Ben needs to go to Prague.
And that's it. And is he going to be the next person to overtake Stefanos Tsitsipas in doing well at Grand Slams? Because the youngsters seem to be overtaking him. Tsitsipas loses to Stricker, another youngster who played incredibly well, I have to say. I think it was a brilliant performance from Stricker. So much power, so much poise. And even on match point, he crushed a winner. It was brilliant to see. But Steph, back to the drawing board and back to a new coach, because I think Philippoussis getting the boot after this tournament.
Sacked. He's getting sacked in the morning. He's already gone, Philippoussis. He's 25 years old, 2-time major finalist, happy in his personal life with Badoza, clarified his coaching situation with his father in the background, who not anymore. But the new generation led by Alcaraz continues to impose itself, and he needs to hit another gear soon or he will be left behind. I've spoke about the Czech players coming through. There's many players who I feel are going to start to overtake him if he doesn't sort of buckle up his ideas on court. We see glimpses of him, but this is for me a deterioration to where he was 2 years ago or 3 years ago even. I don't see him getting better. I see him getting worse, and he's definitely at a bit of a crossroads.
It's crazy that he was in the Australian Open final, and now we're back to this again. There's no consistency, lack of focus, and unable to beat just the young players coming through. It just seems to be the same old story with Steph. I don't know where he goes from here. He just has to he needs to just get a solid team around him, sort out the mental side of his game, and work out how to just grind out these type of performances, because he doesn't seem to ever grind them out. They grind him out.
Yeah, it's disappointing, and something needs to change. Maybe a new coach might be able to sort of inject some life into him, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Was there anything else?
Let's just touch on a couple of we got Zhang knocking out Rude. There was part of me thought that could happen, but I wasn't with any conviction.
I thought it might happen as well, but I wasn't sure. But that's pretty crazy. The first Chinese man to win a win over a top 5 opponent. Yeah, so great for him.
This one, and crazy
Ostapenko stats. Let's just go straight to the winners and unforced errors, because Ostapenko won. I don't know how. 57 winners, 80 unforced errors. Avanation, 11 winners, 30 unforced errors. It's the Ostapenko way, really, isn't it?
It's do or die, isn't it? And
not good for Iga, though. I'm sure Iga was hoping Ostapenko went out, because she's not a nice player to play.
No, has a
beat
favourable.
Iga.
Yeah, 3 times, and 3 out of 3. Will it be 4 out of 4? Will she get to play her? She's going to have to go through one more round before we find out. And finally, we'll just finish off with a crazy win from Rinky Hijikata. Vucevic wins only 4 games.
I don't even know what to say. I think the round
wasn't taking his top off after this one, I bet.
No, it'd be very embarrassing. I'm sure he put a jumper on to cover his forearms after this performance, because 6-1, 6-2, 6-1. I don't know. I don't even know how to comment on it because I've not seen any highlights or anything, just the scoreline. But I'm shocked. I feel like I'm going to watch some of it just purely to see what went wrong for him. Is Hijikata just like a man possessed? I know he played Rafa a few years ago, looked okay, like average.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't understand it at all. Vucevic has just beat Korda. But tennis maths clearly not working at the US Open, and Vucevic has been sent back to the gym. But let's leave it there. Thank you for joining us on our day 3 roundup. We're going to cover some matches for day 4, so please join us for them. I don't know if Liam's going to be making a return, maybe.
Yeah, he will be for Jabeur later.
So if you want to see Liam, go support him. And of course, if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you very soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.